Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
Joe from Verona, New Jersey texted the hotline and asked for help saving his newly planted flowering cherry. It's a weeping cherry, snow fountain, I believe. The bark was completely shredded on one side, and there's only one pest that would do this, and it weighs 200 pounds. And listen to our advice in our first segment.
Kathi called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and has harvested seeds from her flower garden. Kathi asked some great questions that we answered for her during our second segment.
Our buddy Doug from Bristol texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked how to get rid of Creeping Charlie. I think it's his neighbor. And ground ivy. Listen how you too can get rid of these aggravating weeds in our third segment.
A listener texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline asking the best way to deadhead daisies. Listen to her in her fourth segment.
What's bugging you? Stink bugs are bugging everybody. Do you have a stink bug problem? Are they trying to get into your house, warm and snugly, to overwinter at 68 degrees in your home compared to the 30 degrees outside? I might be coming over too. Hear about the how to stop stink bugs during our final segment.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best-looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len. He's Julio. That's Aaron. Sam's over there.
Hey-o.
Okay, so Joe from Verona, which is up in North Jersey, right outside New York City, near Montclair. Ring a bell? Anyway, he sent us pictures with a text. And to a plant person, the images were very disturbing. Here's Joe's text.
Hi, guys. Love the show. Need some advice on this weeping cherry. It was planted in July 22nd. Flowers nicely in spring. White flowers, by the way. I just discovered this today. I believe it happened last week. We have lots of deer around here. It has a covering on it from the nursery, which they tore off and stripped the bark. I replaced it and secured it. Is there anything I should do or just let it heal on its own? Thanks, Joe, Verona, New Jersey.
Oof, Joe.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh. I think we have to do like a eulogy for the tree. The entire one side is completely stripped down to the heartwood. And that's the whole thing. How do you know how damage on a tree? Sure. It's pretty under the bark, okay, is something called cambium. Cambium is we've talked about grafting trees and stuff. You have to line up the cambium to be able to have a successful graft. If that is stripped away, that the entire tree is going to die. Now, it's that term girdled. Now, that's what's happened to the one side. So it's a 50-50 proposition. And here's what happened. It is a buck, okay? So it's a deer. And I call them urban deer.
Urban deer.
Because, this is 20 minutes from New York City.
Yeah.
And that all of a sudden there's a deer population. They're not too far from that. They saw a bear. My mother had a bear in her backyard 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck is going on? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
I got lost.
I don't know. It's eating trash, I guess. But again, what bucks do is in the early part of the season before the rut, right around this time, they start marking their territories. And guess what? Your tree is exactly what was being done. And it was a hunter's website I went and visited just to get some good background because I don't hunt. Aaron, you said you hunt.
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah, deer?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Not in New Jersey, though.
No, Pennsylvania? Yeah.
Yeah, it's too many laws, regarding...
New Jersey? Well,
yeah,
you've got a reputation.
Lawful, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So what happens is deer at this time of the year that they're trying to establish their territory and they're rubbing on trees to leave the scent glands on their forehead. So they're marking the territory. And also it's just a way, the testosterone's starting to build, and all I kept thinking is have you ever had, 14 or 15-year-old boys in your house and they're just are just going crazy? Yeah, that's what's going on with those deer right now. They are starting to ramp up for the rut. And that, again, they're doing this on trees, and it actually is usually a path from their bedding site to their foraging site. So it's somewhere in between there. Here's what you got to do. That covering that was only meant to protect the trunk of the tree during transit. So when it was in a truck being delivered from the nursery, that kind of thing, it was not meant to protect the trunk from a deer that is deciding to, mark its territory. So what you need to do is take 3 stakes, make a triangle around the trunk, wrap that with chicken wire so that will protect the trunk. And you're going to have to do this because the deer itself is going to be able to reach about 4 foot. So you've got to, and basically Weeping Cherry's got that graft, so you've got to protect that. Also, in addition, you want to make some scent markings of your own.
Oh.
Get out there with... No, Julio, that's not what I'm talking about, okay?
All right.
You want to get some repellent. You want to get some deer repellent. And then Aaron's holding his head and shaking his head. Clean it up.
Clear it up, guys.
Anyway,
Come on now.
Bonide Go Away deer and rabbit repellent. Also, I Must Garden deer repellent. You want to spray that and keep a ready-to-use bottle and just leave it there. So every time you cut the grass, you go by that tree, you squirt it. You walk in your backyard, you squirt it. Because it's not a one and done. You've got to keep it. And like the deer, they're marking their territory all the time. You have to do the same thing. it will send a flight response to the deer if they get close to it, and then they'll associate that tree with, you know what, that tree stinks. I'm not going to go near it. This is not something I want to deal with. So just make sure you are reapplying your repellents, reapplying, because you're not necessarily doing it a one and done and then it never comes back. You're modifying the behavior of the animal. And I don't care if it's a dog, a cat, a mole, a chipmunk, a squirrel, or a deer. What you need to do is you need to modify their behavior by consistently applying the repellent where you don't want the deer to go. And then therefore they will associate your area with that repellent, and then eventually they'll modify the behavior. They'll go to your neighbor's yard, they'll go someplace else. But again, leave the bottle out there. It can't freeze, so you don't want to leave it out there in, say, November, December. But right now, you just want to reapply it. And if it's there, you'll do it. If it's in the shed or the garage, you're never going to go back to it. You're just going to say, I got to do this. And it's going to be one of those things that doesn't get done. And then you say the stuff doesn't work. Yeah. Leave it out there where you need it. So that way, every time you're in that backyard or anywhere you're area, it's easy to grab. Just go ahead and just spray it down. Julio?
Yes, sir.
I always give you the opportunity to add something.
Yeah. Now, this tree doesn't look good, huh, Len? You were saying that, and we see it. And so how long will this take to heal?
To heal?
It's going to be a while.
Years.
Yeah.
Because what has to happen is that it needs to callus over, and then it needs to fold itself in, and it's only going to get the nutrient value from the top of the tree from half of that trunk. It may die.
Yeah.
It may die. It's going to be a challenge. I would leave it into the spring, and there's probably buds that have already formed, and that it'll come out in the spring. The real check is going to be when it needs that second growth after it flowers, and all of a sudden you find out that it doesn't really look so good. Really? Yeah. And don't bring it back to the nursery. It's not the nursery's fault.
Yeah. Can he use a pruning spray, or is that going to be just a little nothing?
I mean, makes you feel better.
Yeah,
if it makes you feel better, you can. It's cleaning it up with all those frays that are on the picture that you sent. If you want to see that picture, go to our YouTube channel and watch this segment, and that we'll have that up during our segment, because where it's frayed, it's going to be like extensions for it to be able to dry out the rest of the cambium. So if he cleans that up and just takes a pair of pruners or snippers and tries to get it close, just to clean the long like strands and then just clean it up like a surgeon, that will help. But using a pruning, it used to be back in the day that pruning seal is what you wanted to use and everything else. I've actually gone away from that because it's a petroleum product. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's another show. But if you use like grafting wax, that would maybe help it and seal it and get the air off of it. But it's just got to heal. And it's such a large gash. I mean, it's like, what, Julio? It's 2 foot?
Oh, at least.
2 foot or more. So you think of a deer like nodding its head on and scraping that trunk.
Yeah, it's pretty
it's from almost the base. So it's at least 3 foot.
At least 3 foot, yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty amazing.
If I had to bet, you'll replace it in the spring.
Oh, yeah.
It'll bloom. It'll push some leaves out. But whether it makes it to the following year, because there will always be a scar there. Oh, really? That scar will end up being, it'll be folding in and folding in and folding in. Maybe it might leave a scar that's just a line, but we're talking years from now.
It doesn't look good, does it?
No.
I'd rather get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't like anything ugly.
Yeah. Well, here's a thought. Most nurseries have got stuff on sale right now.
Sure.
You're going to be able to buy it cheaper today than you will in spring.
Right.
So take the weekend, go to your local garden center. Richfield Farms in Clifton, New Jersey is close to you. Again, that's Richfield Farms in Clifton, New Jersey. That they will help you out, and they'll also, I'm sure that they've got nursery product out there. Go to your local garden center. I know there used to be Cedar Grove Garden Center that was over there. I don't know if they're still there or not. I don't know. I had a friend of mine that was a manager there. He was in my wedding.
Oh, yeah?
All right. We're getting off track. Anyway.
But make sure you do. When you do go, let them know that Bloomers in the Garden sent you.
Thank you, Aaron. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So, yeah, we don't say that enough. Anytime you go to your local garden center, we say it at the end.
Yeah, we got to
We're
support.
really quick at the end because we always are overtime.
Absolutely.
Aren't we, Sam?
Anytime you go anywhere, say Bloomers in the Garden.
Thank you. That's right. That's right. Next time you go to Wawa, tell them, I heard about this in Bloomers in the Garden. You go to Target, McDonald's, tell them, I heard about this in Bloomers in the Garden. We'd appreciate that.
They probably have.
Anyway, really, I tell you what, please let people know that you do listen to Bloomers in the Garden. We appreciate it very, very much. And our sponsors do too. For sure. That's why. And also on YouTube, make sure you give us 5 stars and please subscribe. Really? You can't imagine like some AI computer stuff that, we deal with plants, so we really don't understand most of this stuff, but it immensely helps us. And so make sure you go and subscribe on YouTube and you give us a 5-star review. We'll take a 4. Nothing lower. Anyway, listen to that other garden center program. Anyway. Aaron, I don't need the face. I don't need the face.
All right.
There isn't one. So, anyway, all right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Are you looking forward to a spring of vibrancy while using the best organically approved growing media for your annuals and vegetables? Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter has been created to set a diverse culture ideal for germinating seeds and root cuttings. Created using the best ancient composting techniques and new age mixing devices, Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter gently combines kelp meal, worm casings, mycorrhiza, perlite, and sustainably harvested peat moss, establishing the most desirable setting to enhance new plant growth. Coast of Maine's Sprout Island Organic Seed Starter is available at these local retailers, or visit www.coastofmaine.com to locate one near you. Sickles Market, Little River, New Jersey. Espen Shade's Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania.
This broadcasting segment has been brought to you by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Who says you can't plant in fall? Have you checked out Bloomers Home and Garden Center? They've got tons of plants to put in the ground this time of year. Have you considered adding some color to your fall landscape? Right now is the time to head out to Bloomers and check out the selection of hardy mums, pansies, and asters. While you're there, check out Bloomers' line of autumn bliss plants. Plants and flowers that bloom through fall and thrive in autumn's cool nights and warm days. Don't forget to check out the end of the year nursery clearance. Save big on camellias, 50% off, 75% off all dwarf golden hinoki. Take $100 off blue atlas cedar, weeping or upright, and $50 off all blood good Japanese maple trees. That's not it. Save up to 75% off at the perennial clearance table. And yes, in case you didn't figure it out, we've got a ton of pumpkins of all shapes and sizes. And don't forget, back by popular demand, the Porch Pleaser. For just $20, you get 2 corn stalks and 1 straw bale. When you check out the showroom floor, you'll see a large variety of our handcrafted Amish fall decorations to commemorate fall being the coolest time of year at Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers Home and Garden Center is located at 344 Herfield Cross Keys Road, Washington Township. For more information, check us out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomers, you've got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Kathy called the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked us about collecting and storing seeds. Listen to her call.
Hi, my name's Kathy, and I have been deadheading seeds from zinnias, coneflowers, and daisies. And they've been drying out for months on paper plates sitting on my kitchen hutch. My next step is I want to take the seeds and store them. First question, how do I know they're absolutely dry to be stored? And the second question is, how do I store them during the winter months to be planted in the spring? Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
We love Kathy.
Yeah, we do.
That's pretty impressive.
It is.
That's
very
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I could give you the answer really quick. It's like, okay, you've dried them for 2 weeks. That's good. Go ahead and put them, the bank envelopes that you get that are real toll an hour. If you don't, go to the bank. When you go to the bank, you can ask them, do you have any of those envelopes that you had?
Right.
What to do is you can put the seeds in there. Make sure you write down what it is and write down the date. Okay. And then you can store them for up to 2 years, even longer.
Wow.
But here's the but. Okay. Plants cross-pollinate. Now, she mentioned zinnias. For instance, zinnias, cut-and-come zinnias are, for instance, they are an open pollinator where they will stay pretty close to the original plant. But if there are other varieties that are over that in the garden that the bees are going to cross-pollinate, and all of a sudden you may get some differences and variations. If there are hybrids there, you more than likely are not going to get the same plant because it's been pollinated and cross-pollinated. So again, the plants that you put in and the seeds that you germinate, depending on the original plant that you put in, okay, may look different in variation. And that, my friends, is how new plants are discovered.
Oh, that's great.
So who knows? Kathy may have an incredible, all of a sudden she comes out with a cross between this is not going to happen, by the way, a coneflower zinnia.
Oh, God, yeah.
But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But again, we're that's how plants cross. So don't be surprised if when the plants mature that they look a little different, that maybe the flowers are bigger or the color, all of a sudden it's like, where did that flower color come from? They weren't that color. So again, that what you do is that you can cover the plants. And recently I told you guys about being on a Nursery Days tour here in out in southern New Jersey. They had what they called Jersey Nursery Days for the past 3 days. And 4 different nurseries and growers got together and invited all their customers to come down. I saw a bunch of new plants, and new plants don't have names. A lot of them are just numbers, like 1-48 TC, and because they don't want to let everybody know that, that's that new. And I saw it looked like a fabric stocking bag over top of one of the blooms. And what they were doing is isolating that flower so it didn't cross-pollinate.
Awesome.
And that's a little extreme. I like the fact that Kathy's doing it and is doing it for fun. So who knows? You can do this with marigolds for sure. You can do it with a lot of different flowers. I'm curious. I want Kathy, make sure that you call us back and let us know what the seeds turned out to be like. Did they look exactly like everything that you had, or did you have variations? If you had some really cool variations, who knows?
Awesome.
Remember, maybe it'll be a coneflower Kathy.
That'd be great. Oh,
All right, new Kathy variety.
I patent that. Huh?
Yeah, I want that Kathy variety. All of a sudden, there's 1 million being sold.
Wow.
That's a lot. But again,
Yeah, shout out to Kathy. Absolutely.
I mean, this is how backyard gardeners discovered plants.
Wow.
That's really interesting, man. I did not know that's how that worked, like the cross-pollination and all of that stuff. I mean,
awesome.
It's like the plants are guilty by being right next door, by association.
It's those bees, it's pollinators,
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's, again, it's the birds and the bees, Anyway, that's a different show. But again, Kathy, you're doing a great job. everything after 2 weeks is usually dry. But make sure you sort out the seeds. You want to make sure they have no inert ingredients that are sneaking into your envelopes. So what to do is just select the largest and the best looking seed. Don't bother keeping anything that looks like, dust or parts of the plant or anything like that. Because if you look on a bag of grass seed, I was explaining this to Aaron earlier today, it actually says inert ingredient. And that there are some seed companies that are out there that like the inert ingredient is like 2%. And that could be weed seeds. That could be little rocks. That could be all kinds of stuff. So you want to get that stuff out of there and make sure you just have pure seed. So again, I tell you, when next time you're out there and you're buying grass seed, look on the back of the bag and look to see an inert ingredient. If your inert ingredient even has 1%, put it back on the shelf, buy something else. Your local garden center will not have garbagey seed, but when you're talking about companies that want to work on price, they're usually big orange boxes and big blue boxes, and a lot of times they'll have stuff that is like, I can't believe that grass seed was so cheap. And there's a reason, because you had, 2% of it were weeds, and now you're wondering why your lawn is all weedy. Anyway, all right, we'll be right back right after this.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. They'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks, Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, Doug, you're a listener from Bristol. And he got his T-shirt, by the way. He sent us some information, asked, and he went to Flags Garden Center, and he got what he needed. But this time, he has a question about getting rid of a tough weed. Here's his text.
Looking to get rid of Creeping Charlie, ground ivy. Thanks, Doug from Bristol, PA. P.S. I already have a shirt.
That's right. One per customer, Doug.
That's right.
Maybe next year you might get lucky and get another shirt. We do appreciate him getting back to us. Not too hard. Again, ground ivy, it's funny because this is a regional thing. We talk about how plants are known, like hosta, for instance, up in North Jersey growing up. That was funkia.
What?
Yeah. Do you have any funkia?
Oh, wow.
If you said that in South Jersey, like, what are you talking about? Do you mean plantain lily?
Oh.
They're all the same plant.
Yeah.
And creeping Charlie sometimes, and I've made this mistake where I confuse creeping Charlie sometimes, and not to look at it, but when somebody says they have creeping Charlie, I often think that they mean Virginia creeper. Not the same thing. Not the same thing. So I want to make that clear. Ground ivy is how I know his weed, and it has like probably a round weed, almost like a disc weed, and it will tunnel through into the grass, and it's hard to get rid of. +2 weed and feeds, granular, do not really do the job on it. It's listed because they technically could, but what you need is Bonide's Weed Beater Ultra. Weed Beater Ultra, it's a liquid. Liquid weed controls work the best. Okay? Plain and simple. Liquid weed controls work the best. Now, you can also, which some people don't know, Virginia creeper is sometimes sold as an ornamental plant. I don't know. People are weird.
Right.
But again, because it's a climber, it can climb up to 90 feet. It gets blueberries and birds like it. It doesn't really hurt like masonry structures because it doesn't send its roots into the mortar. It's more like a disc that holds on. So, I mean, it's a beneficial plant, but I don't particularly like it. That has great fall color.
Yeah.
I'll give it that much.
They pop up all over the place.
That's true. That's true. You have one plant, got 100.
Yeah.
You can use a brush killer on that, and that you don't have to necessarily, if you have this growing, and this is the one where everybody thinks it's poison ivy, but it's not, because it has 5 leaves. And what's the rule of poison ivy? Leaves of
3.
leave it be. There you go. So leaves of 3, leave it be. But the brush killer, good thing about this, if you do have it in your grass, it doesn't kill your grass. So brush killer BK32 from Bonine or the poison ivy and oak killer will work on the Virginia creeper, but it will not kill your grass. So just saying. It's something different. Just wanted to interject that because sometimes creeping Charlie, they think it's Virginia creeper, but it's not. They're two different weeds. So for Doug, Weed Beater Ultra. Okay, if you have that 5-leaved vine that climbs up everything, brush killer 32. There
you go.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
Problem solved.
Yes.
We'll solve another problem in our next segment. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. A listener texted Bloomers in the Garden hotline about their daisies. Here's their text.
I moved from New Jersey to Williamsburg. Stop. I moved from New Jersey to Williamsburg, Virginia. I thought it was the other way around. Mm-hmm. You know? So she's listened to us from Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
All right. I got it.
Or texted us.
I got it. All right. Back in. I've well-established daisies in a bed. I've been deadheading them, and they do great, but the stalks look scraggly and die. Should I be cutting them back to the greenery as the daisies die? And will more daisies come up? And if I cut it back to that greenery during the growing season, that's the key, during the growing season. The answer? No. We usually have good news. There are some perennials. You can cut them back after they are done blooming, like for instance, catmint and sage and even lavender. You can cut back and they'll throw up more blooms.
Second flow, yeah.
Not so. We're not sure if she has Shastas or Montauk daisies. Yeah. So, again, deadheading encourages room for the other blossoms and buds to expand,
flowers,
so you can actually get the flower, not necessarily more flowers, but just bigger flowers. Right, and it cuts down on some of the diseases that can get in because it gives them some air circulation.
Cleans it up a little bit.
But the key is you've got to treat them like mums. They're grown to bud at the certain time of the year, and for Montauk daisies, you want to pinch them back 3 times through the growing season with that last pinch before July 15th. Now, Shasta daisies, and this is right off the Centerton Nursery website, which we love our guys from Centerton. They were participants in the nursery days, which they are a great nursery. Blue pots, everybody. So they are saying with Shasta daisies, in-season pinching sometimes
not all the time,
encourages rebloom. Off-season, okay, so that means when you're going into late fall or after a frost, that's when you want to just leave a crown of foliage, short and tighten everything up because you want to create that mound. And these are Shasta daisies. Shasta daisies bloom in the spring. Montauk daisies bloom in the fall, and they honestly look almost identical. There's a lot of new varieties, but they really, white daisy, yellow center. So what they're saying is that it sometimes does. And at Bloomers, we do not have good success cutting Shastas back to reform bud, to get a bud set later in the season. So it's not like, again, we talk about old wood and new wood. This is almost like that old wood principle that they will bud on the first growth cycle, but no more after that. And again, when you talk about Montauk's, you're trying to cut them back, and that we talked about it a few weeks ago, where you're just trying to get them to be a nice, large dome. You can cut them and split them after 3 years. Yeah. But again, it's unfortunate, but you don't get the same luxury that you get with some other perennials that if you cut them back, they're even some shrubs like spirea. Like you cut back spirea, and all of a sudden, it's all flowered again. Yeah. Coreopsis, same thing.
Thing, yeah.
So, unfortunately, it's a one and done. Yeah. Enjoy it. It has great foliage, so that it does have that nice dark green foliage, and there's nothing else that's going to look like it.
Yeah. Make sure you have room for it.
Yeah, make sure you have room for it, or make sure you're reliable with splitting them.
Splitting it, yeah.
So, all right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is available at these local retailers.
Forsalati Brothers, Rivervale, New Jersey. Calgo Gardens, Freehold, New Jersey. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey. Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Are you looking to reach an audience of over 12 million residents in the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley, and New York City Tri-State? Then consider becoming a broadcast sponsorship partner for Bloomers in the Garden. Every week on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, your products become associated with the authority in everything lawn, landscape, and garden. For more information on the Bloomers in the Garden Partnership Program, feel free to call the hotline 609-685-1880 or check out the radio tab at bloomers.com.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, we were talking about how Aaron's pansies had waves and they were two different sizes.
Absolutely.
By variety. There are some varieties that are tall varieties, or the ground cover varieties. But what is bugging you?
Ooh, something smells.
Yeah. I don't think they want to be identified because of this problem.
Right.
But a beloved Bloomer staff member has a screen door that is filled with stink bugs trying to set up their winter quarters in their house.
Yes.
Oh.
Or Sandy.
Carl, you know, what are you
I was just
doing?
going to say, it wasn't me.
Didn't want to be identified.
Well, there's a lot of Sandys out there.
Well, that's true.
Oh, yeah, it's more than
but there's
one.
only one Sandy Martin. Oh, no. All right. So she came in like frustrated and mad. She goes, you know what happened? I went to my screen door, and this was one of the sunny days that we've had this past week where it's really been pretty warm. Stink bugs all over her screen door.
She said one got in her hair.
Yeah, well, she's trying to brush them off. And then, it's like that scene from what is it, where Harrison Ford is going to get the monkey
Indiana
head.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the spiders are all over his back.
I really don't like that scene. It really bugs me.
Yeah. Sandy had stink bugs all over her back like that.
Nope.
Anyway.
She tracks.
So, yeah, Julio, you keep that up. Sandy will let you know all about it. So, look, so what's happening is that they're looking at your house. We've said this before. Hey, look, Florida. We're going to be snowbirds because we're going to come into that house where it's nice and warm. I tell you, it is a awful bug because they're so sneaky. They're like a sloth. They move so slow. Okay. And then try to get in. And then all of a sudden you move the curtain and all of a sudden 3 of them drop out. And it's like, where did these come from? It's December. Because they snuck in your house while you weren't looking. I just hate it. They go kind of dormant. So they're not they're not really a problem until it starts. You get one of those surprise springs in the middle of the winter. And all of a sudden, those idiots, again, stink bugs are the worst. I just hate stink bugs.
You're right.
Anyway, so they think that all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's going to come out now. I have a cat that they evidently fly. I guess people found that out, and they do fly. And my cat's trying to kill it. Oh, okay. And of course, what's happening is the stink for stink bug, they're just setting a trail for other stink bugs to follow. So it's kind of like how ants, if you have sugar that you spilled and all of a sudden ants find it, they leave a pheromone trail to your house. So guess what? It's like, come on, guys.
is it.
We rented a house for the winter. Come on down and visit us. And so all of a sudden, you've got these stink bugs that are trying to get into your house.
They've got the DJ with the block party.
That's it. Come on. Anyway, so what do you do? First of all, don't crush them, because then you'll really find out why they're called stink bugs. Second, what you want to do is you want to go and just grab them. Take a paper towel or something like that, and you can grab them that way. My best method, you're going to laugh.
What?
Vacuum cleaner.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Got 'em.
That's fun. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I send my kids in with the Dirt Devil.
Yeah, there you go, right?
For sure.
Right?
The little handheld, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
It's like, go get them.
Yep.
But it definitely will work. And you don't have to touch them and get your stinky fingers.
Right.
But still, look, spraying them is going to work. And if you want to spray, you want to use BioAdvance Home Pest Control. And why do we say BioAdvance Home Pest? It works for up to 12 months. Now, again, if it's undisturbed, right, and you're spraying, and stink bugs aren't like crawling on your counter. So it's not like you're spraying poison on your counter, but on your windowsills, on your door frames, things like that, where they are trying to sneak through those crevices, then it'll work. And Julio, you ready? Mm-hmm. You're ready. I hope you're ready for this.
Got it.
What is the active ingredient?
The active ingredient on it is called cyfluthrin. Yeah,
You said it right.
Okay.
You got it. And the important part of that is the last 4 letters.
The thrin.
Or 5 letters is thrin. It's a thrin. So it's another modified pyrethrin that is, again, it's organic. It's an organic insecticide that has been modified. Man made it better, okay? And that actually happens to all of you out there that are organic crazy, that where the problem with the organic version is that sunlight, it just completely diminishes in sunlight, so it doesn't have any residual to it. And so what's happened is scientists went and found a way to make it last longer. So it still is not killing with that, deadly poison spray. Eventually they'll take it off the market for some reason. Somebody will say, it's like, hey, well, we're going to...
Like that other one they took out.
Yeah, right. In New Jersey, we can no longer use imidacloprid. And that is a great insecticide. Other states that are in our listing, they can, like Pennsylvania can. But again, it had to do more with bees with that, but that's because people were using it wrong. Not our listeners.
No.
Not our listeners. No. They knew how to use it because, again, imidacloprid is not a spray. It's a drench. Right. Anyway, but cyfluthrin is the active ingredient in the home pest control, and that it has a long residual. It actually, you can spray it outside. It will work as a perimeter spray where you spray all around your patio porch. You do windowsills on the outside of your house and door frames and things like that. It'll also work there. And again, outside it may not last as long as it does inside undisturbed for that up to 12 months. But again, it will control those insects that are trying to have that that winter house.
I always, I just looking at this when I first moved into our house and we first bought it. We had pretty good success using this product.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed when we sprayed it, I just didn't, I have older windows, so my windows sometimes are drafty. They have little holes that we can't really even see.
And that's where they're getting in.
Right? And then I'll come in and I'll see. I'm like, how the heck did, we get bugs and all types of stuff stuck. I even got bees stuck in between the screens and inside the windows at one point. And so when we sprayed that as a perimeter around the house, also because we had crickets. And it worked for everything.
Are you or any of your family members freaked out by crickets?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah, my daughter's scared of them.
Julio, you don't like crickets either.
I can't sleep.
Yeah.
You can't sleep because of the crickets? Sam's, you don't like crickets?
Actually, Kathy, the caller Kathy, she's terrified of them.
Terrified of crickets?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jiminy Cricket, come on, Pinocchio.
It's different when they're jumping at you.
Yeah, that's
that's
the thing. My daughter's scared the way they look.
They're just stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, but again, that this will control that too. It is a great product, and again, it's BioAdvance Home Pest Control.
Yeah.
Again, the sulforaphane that's in it is the active ingredient you want to look through. There are other products that have that same thing. Bonide is in a transition with their pest line. I went to see that what's happening is that something's going on. They didn't have anything that we could necessarily recommend, but there may be some on your local garden center shelf that has the same active ingredient. May say deltamethrin, but again, it's the long-lasting 12-month version of the BioAdvance that I really do like.
It's incredible. It's that length.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. So again, stink bugs. You can do the vacuum hunt, and see if you find them. If you don't want to touch them, you can spray those areas where they're sneaking in. There were a lot of recommendations with trying to seal your house. I'm thinking to myself, I am not going around to seal every crack in my house, all my windows and everything. I'm just not going to do it. Is this the window they're getting in? I don't know. It's like, it could be, So I'm just going to do a spray of, again, the home pest control. And then that way I know that I've got it cleared. Yeah. Or just let the cats eat them. No, my cats are not. No, my cats are they're entertainment for them, but they are not hunters that I would hope they would be.
Could you
we'll talk
imagine?
about mice another time.
That's right.
Anyway, but that's a different show.
That is a different.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Is she gone?
Nope, she's still standing there.
What is she doing?
I think she's watching the grass grow.
That's our job.
I know, right? She's watching the grass grow, the flowers grow. Ooh, look, the trees are growing.
Can't say as I blame her. Remember where she bought all this stuff.
Duh, bought us there too.
Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Find us online at bloomers.com.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Me and Julio.
Ooh, my
Julio.
goodness.
Julio, one thing you didn't do, you didn't get to go with me to the New Jersey nursery days.
No, I didn't.
No, but
usually
I
do.
brought back some swag for everybody.
Oh, wow. Cool.
All right.
Yeah,
Here.
thank you.
Let's see. Medford Nursery's known for grown roses, and star roses are one of the ones that they grow. So let me throw some things out here while I still have time. Here we go. Medford Nursery clipboard.
Oh, nice.
This
Look
is
at
Hey.
the prize right here.
Right here. Oh, look at this.
Right? Connor piled hats and proven winner hats.
Oh, I like that.
They were there.
Are they?
Right?
Wow. Look at that.
All right.
Thank you, Len.
Number one,
My man.
not to leave Sam out.
Hey, a cup.
There we go, huh?
Wow.
A proven winners and color choice cup.
You know, pressing buttons, I get real thirsty.
Yeah, I bet you do. I'm looking at it. It's like, well, it doesn't hold much. But anyway, the ultimate is the proven winners notebook. Julio, I gave you a notebook once, and you lost it, didn't you?
I did.
All right,
you,
so
Len.
Julio gets the embossed leather
For
proven winner notebook.
Calling all the callers.
Yep, that's right. Oh, fuck, I found another one.
Oh, look.
Yeah, they thought I was stealing. Yes, I was, really.
With something for the kids.
Yeah, there you go. I have no idea what those cards are.
That's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
African safari puzzle. Thank you.
Yeah,
Len.
so if you want to see
Len.
what everybody got, you can go online to our YouTube channel, and please make sure you subscribe and give us 5 stars. We appreciate that. We work hard at this show, and we bring it to you each week. Now, make sure that you call or text the hotline at 609-685-1880. Any of your questions that have to do about, please leave it to gardening. Leave it to gardening and to lawn care, landscape, you name it. Please, and we'll get your answer back to you right away. This is a, what do we call it, Sam? Live to tape?
Yeah, live to tape.
Live to tape program that we do each week. And that, Julio, you want people to mention Bloomers, don't you?
Yes, we do. Every time you go into the garden center, your favorite garden center, just let them know that you listen to Bloomers in the Garden. Right?
All right, we'll see you next week. See you in the garden.
See you in the garden.